So the warrant details for Kim and Deborah Clenney do not look good. And they don't just look bad for Kim and Deborah Clenney, Courtney Clenney's parents. They look bad for Courtney Clenney and her attorneys. Let's look at that. And real quick before, I did a video just this morning giving some grace to the defense. I was like, hey, the prosecution wants to have this hearing on Thursday, tomorrow, to bring a gag order against the defense. I don't really like that. If the prosecution can leak information, the defense should be able to speak on it. But now the defense looks like they're in hot water, and I don't have a life raft to save them. I can't find one. It's not happening. Let's look at why. So, from Law and Crime, warrants allege Courtney Clenney's parents worked with her attorneys to gain access to slain boyfriend's laptop. Former OnlyFans model also charged with computer crime. The parents of a one-time OnlyFans model and influencer accused of murdering her boyfriend with a knife have been arrested in Austin, Texas on out-of-state felony warrants for computer crimes. We talked about that this morning. Deborah Lynn Clenney, 57, and Kim Dwayne Clenney, the father, are currently being detained in the Travis County Jail on hold for another agency. We have mugshots. We'll get to those. Deputies arrested the couple on Tuesday morning. Their bond hearing was this morning. Courtney Clenney, 28, also known online as Courtney Taylor, stands accused of murder in the second degree over the stabbing death of her boyfriend, Christian Toby Ovumseli, 27, a cryptocurrency trader with whom she lived in a posh Miami apartment. Clenney maintains she stabbed Obumseli in self-defense. She is also being charged over the computer-related allegations. Now, I want to say, I've done some pondering, and I've shared my thoughts with you guys about how the defense could approach this case. It's kind of hard for me to ponder about that anymore after reading this, and you guys are going to see why. The arrest warrants in the case against Clenney and her parents, obtained by Law and Crime, were applied for by the Miami-Dade Police Department on January 26th, endorsed by 3 assistant state's attorneys, and issued by the 11th Judicial Circuit in the Sunshine State. The 3 members of the Clenney family, so Clenney, mom, and dad, now stand accused of 1 count each of unauthorized access or excessive access to a computer. Florida law makes it illegal to willfully, knowingly, and without authorization, or exceeding authorization, access or cause to be accessed any computer, computer system, computer network, or electronic device with knowledge that such access is unauthorized or the manner of use exceeds authorization. The charges relate to a laptop that belonged to Obumseli, the warrants allege. Clenney allegedly helped her parents access the computer with the aid of her attorneys, by way of a group chat in which the elder Clenneys and 4 attorneys participated. That group chat contained some 4,230 messages spanning the period between September 2022. Remember, she was arrested August 11th, 2022, when the laptop was first discussed. We don't have a September date, but presumably about a month after the arrest. And May 2023, but leaves approximately 4 months of messages unaccounted for due to unknown reasons. So September, assuming this is September 1st, right? Maybe it was the end of the month. September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, and then May. So at best, that's a 9-month period, and there's 4 months of messages unaccounted for unknown reasons. Since Clenney's parents are witnesses in the murder case, they were not and could not be represented by her attorneys, the warrant says. So no attorney-client privilege. And we're going to see from some of these group chat messages that the defense attorneys are telling Kim and Deborah, oh, you guys aren't witnesses yet, very early on in these group chat conversations. Accordingly, there is no attorney-client privilege contained within the messages, the warrants read. Additionally, because the conversations were sought or obtained to enable or aid the commission of a crime, there is no attorney-client privilege to the conversations. And I'm sure we're going to see arguments for this, but it looks really bad. Looks really bad. If you guys want to do your best argument to counter this, even if it's just hypothetical, I'm not saying that you have to say it and authentically be arguing for it. But how would you defend this? How would you reframe this to make this look gravy? So this is their mugshot. This is Travis County Jail. This is Texas. So these are the jumpsuits that they have. They're still those stripy ones. Miami law enforcement alleges the group chat shows Clenney's father asking the attorneys for passwords for the laptop and laptop PIN ideas so we can try them on 2 days in September 2022. In response to the initial inquiries, Clenney's lead attorney, Frank Prieto, allegedly responds respectively, yes, Sabrina and I have a list we will provide, and I have a couple that I can forward to you tomorrow. Later that September, Clenney's father requested, quote, any pin/passwords we can try before you see her tomorrow in the group chat, the warrants allege. In response to that third question, attorney Sabrina Puglisi allegedly replies, quote, she didn't have anything for me. So they're speaking to Clenney, presumably that's what this is referring to. I don't know what else it would refer to ask her, hey, you have any ideas of what the pin or password? And she's like, I don't have anything for you. The warrants identify Prieto as individual 1 and Puglisi as individual 2. Clenney's father is identified in the warrants as subject 2, and Clenney's mother is identified as subject 3. Presumably, Clenney is subject 1. Individual 1 apparently in response to subject two's multiple inquiries. So, Prieto, in response to Clenney, the dad, Kim Clenney, multiple inquiries for passwords, then began sending several back-to-back messages to the group chat, the warrants read. Individual 1, Prieto, sent 6 messages with possible passwords. Eventually, the participants in the group chat learned from Clenney's father that, quote, the PIN is actually a 4-digit number and that letters are not able to be entered according to the warrant. Kim Clenney then allegedly asks Puglisi to ask his daughter for options. And so for the next line, I'm going to divert to a clip from AV to the 7th Power for her reaction because it's the best reaction I could think of. I don't know how else you could react to reading this. We are going to be talking about the Jonathan Majors case tomorrow on her live stream on her channel. So that's AV to the 7th Power. The @ is AV7Official. Link will be in the description there. I'll also link to this specific full video where you can see her coverage of the Courtney Clenney case. At the end of the stream, she starts talking about this article and the chat goes wild. Like, it's crazy. It's really crazy stuff. But this is her reading the next line that we didn't get to yet.
September 30th, 2022. Courtney Clenney's father allegedly sent the following message to the group chat that read, hell yeah, that pin worked. And y'all want me to go and take the bar.
But that's crazy. That's crazy. So this group chat, it's like a party. It's like, think of like your group chat with your friends. They're just chopping it up about getting this pin to get into this laptop for whatever reason. Kim, Prieto allegedly replied, hold off on going through the computer, please. I don't want you to turn into a witness just yet if you find something useful. But that is great news and makes this easy with an IE. The discussion in the group chat next turns to custody of the laptop, the warrants allege. During this discussion, Puglisi allegedly tells Clenney's father, we don't want you accessing files because the state attorney could request their own independent analysis of the hard drive and accuse you of creating or modifying files. That's why I wanted to put a quick pause on that. Obviously, I know you would not do that, but we want to maintain that credibility. And this is why it's scary to take contemporaneous text messages or group chats at face value, because you never know. Someone could be writing them with foresight to know that someone could look back and read this and in the future, how would future me want this to look? Let me write that now. So Dad replies, I had barely opened it and was starting to poke around, but we started a video call, so I stopped. Kim Clenney allegedly replied, never opened a file, so I didn't see anything. Eventually, Clenney's mother, I wonder if that video call was like, bro, don't open the PC. They'll be able to tell through forensics. And they're like, okay, let me get off this video call and then write in the group chat that I shouldn't do that. And I could be like, okay, I didn't do that. I wonder what that video call was about. Because it seems like it happened right in the middle of this conversation. Eventually, Clenney's mother drove from Austin to Dallas to give the laptop to Prieto on October 2022. In October 2022, the warrants allege. After that, the discussion in the group chat about the laptop allegedly stops for months. The warrants say Prieto allegedly gave the laptop to an IT consultant for unlawful access in July 2023. The warrants, however, say they do not have evidence to suggest the consultant could have known he was not authorized to access the laptop. So, after they get the laptop, they then give it to an IT consultant. Months later, July 2023. So what did they do with it in the meantime? So they've had it all this time. They get it in October 2020. They don't collect it from the scene. And that's the police. If it was in that apartment, that penthouse apartment, and the police don't collect it, maybe they didn't see it, but how good of an investigation did you do? If you watch AV's stream, she's gonna point out the cops during the interrogation, they're, like, hugging her, they, like, offer stuff to clean up her hands. Doesn't seem like a great investigation, and we know that they don't end up arresting her until months later. The killing happens April 3rd. She's not arrested until, like, August 11th. It's, like, 4 months. So anyway, now the defense is like, "Don't do anything with this laptop. The state is going to want to be able to do a fair investigation themselves into the hard drive." But then they get the laptop in October 2022, and they give it to their own IT consultant in July 2023. So I'm going to make the inference they haven't even told the state that they have this laptop. Anyway, so they're not putting fault on the IT guy. Law and Crime reached out to Prito and Puglisi for comment on this story, but no response was immediately forthcoming. And hilariously enough, there is a hearing tomorrow for a gag order. The state wants to ask the judge for a gag order on this case, so that's extra funny now. Let me know your thoughts on that. Like, I've had my comments on the gag order, and I thought it was reasonable for what I knew. But now I'm kind of like, forget you, Prito, forget you, Puglisi, because if you went and got these passwords and gave them to Kim and Deborah, like, you're interfering with, I don't know. So as much as I want to advocate for transparency, I don't even care about this gag order hearing against Prieto and Puglisi. In a statement obtained by CBS News, attorneys for the Clenney family rubbished the charges. Oh yeah, so we read this earlier on the video this morning about, the arrest warrants coming out, and this is just so much funnier now. We're extremely surprised and very concerned about the arrest of the Clenney family. This could be an example of prosecutorial overreach and misconduct, the statement reads. We believe the Clenney family has been targeted with some trumped up charges to discredit them in the press and make their lives miserable. It stinks of a power play by prosecutors to control the narrative. This Thursday, the state is seeking a gag order in the case. Now they've gone after Courtney's mom and dad in such a way that requires them to spend considerable time in jail without bond. So, they made this statement this morning. It was still, at least maybe the defense attorneys knew differently. I'm not sure, because Clenney is one of the counts applies to her, Courtney Clenney. I'm assuming they had to become aware of what was actually contained in the warrant at some point. But I'm wondering if they made this statement and the prosecution played this cat and mouse game and let them come out and make this statement, knowing that they would, before they saw that the warrant involved them. Not charging them with counts, but they're identified as individuals involved in what someone else is being charged for. Like, this statement is just like, whew, knowing what we know now. And that's the end of it. So, again, this is Law and Crime reporting on what they say they see in the warrants that they obtained. Let me know your thoughts. I think this is insane. I thought it was insane when it was just the parents trying to help, but then you add in the mix that the attorneys are taking part in this, kind of liaisoning between Courtney Clenney in jail as her attorney, and then her parents, who they are not the parent attorneys, liaisoning to obtain possible passwords for a laptop and then sitting on it for months. The floor is now yours. Let me know your thoughts on not just the parents' involvement, but now that you know the attorneys are involved too, according to the warrant, right? I'm sure we'll see some arguments rebuking this, but I, guys, if they have those group chat messages, what is there to rebuke? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on whether or not you believe that the dad didn't snoop around that laptop for more than a second or two. And let me know what you think of the potential foresight, where I'm speculating maybe Frank Prieto's typing in there with foresight. How do I want someone in the future to look back at these group chat messages if they ever see them? Where he's saying things like, hey, we want to make sure it remains credible. You know, we don't want you accessing the files because the state attorneys could request their own independent analysis of the hard drive and accuse you of creating or modifying files. That's why I wanted to put a quick pause on that. Obviously, I know you would not do that, but we want to maintain that credibility. But then they hold on to this laptop after they get it in October 2022 and then ask their own IT person to look at it in July 2023. It's not that they're in July 2023 turning it over to the state. What do you think about all of this? And do you think that they're going to make another statement? What do you think this gag order tomorrow is maybe they'll appreciate the gag order tomorrow because then they won't have to make a statement because they can't. I have so many thoughts. Um, if you were tuning into this after seeing my prior videos covering the details of the case, where I've tried to throw the defense a bone by saying, "Hey, I don't think a gag order should be placed on them." Eh, it's fair game, girly. You guys have a good one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And remember, AV to the seventh power will be talking about the Jonathan Majors case tomorrow, Thursday, if you're watching this already on Thursday, at 7 p.m. Eastern. Have a good one.